All right, here we go, everybody. Let me first of all check the sound. This is interesting. We can't get the person. They'd like to talk to someone who was near the person. Yep. Okay, the sound sounds fine to me. Maybe a little tinny, but there's a reason why we're going to do this is because we're going to bring you more information on this than everyone else. And we have some guests coming up. Pete says we're all set. So that's good news. Folks, day 5, that's how we're going to refer to it. Manhunt, day 5. And I want to, I'm going to just start, and then Pete can show, and then you'll get an understanding of why we're going to, well, this is going to be a different type of coverage. We're going to do coverage that you're not seeing from anybody else. Share that you are watching. Hi there, Janet Dwyer. So there is a new person and they want to contact, and it's not the person of interest, it's someone who passed the person of interest. But I want to just show you that right now there's police, and I think this is really interesting what I'm going to show you and back around. So if people would just listen instead of asking questions, and I want to be very clear, I'm not going to respond to all these people in the chat that just fire questions. But if you listen to what I'm saying, the answer is there. So right up ahead, we're going to go back. This is FBI and Providence Police. And they are literally going to every residence in this area. So we just saw them. You're going to pick them up. We're going to pick them up. They have the block radius, but now you're going to see them coming up. You're going to see, well, actually now you're going to see a lot of them on the street. They're going to the fringes. And I think this is really interesting. What you need to know is right now, I'm big on, we're going to talk to former Providence Police Officer Danny Gannon, was a lieutenant. See how right there you see, now there's a group of them. They are literally going door to door. They now want to know every person that lives in this area. So every person that is in this area, that's who they are looking literally at everyone. And the thing about these side streets is, so I believe I'm big on follow the police. And what I see is the police still remain in this area. And so the person that you see, the person they're identifying as the person of interest, they do not have that person arriving in this area by vehicle. See right there on the street, and we're the only ones over here, you can see them right there. They are fanning out and going through this entire area. And okay, see how now they're breaking up into different teams, but they are literally going. We're going to follow this team that just went left. So this is important because, yes, the area around Brown University is obviously wealthy, but this is how thorough this manhunt is. They are literally going to every single house and door. Or we could follow this one. Now, down around some of these streets, there's very small apartments. So now I'm not hearing from everyone. I believe Pete actually said the sound is okay. So, but there's a lot of people. We're going to talk with our attorney, Stephanie Murphy, coming up about the Attorney General, Peter Nerona, that's taken a big part here. But so do you understand that that person that we see, the person of interest, to me, I mean, he's not well dressed. He's cautious. He's walking around. He's planning his escape route. So now, right now, those law enforcement officials are literally going door to door. And why are they doing that? Well, there could be, and I now believe that the individual they're looking for is potentially like a recluse, someone that could rent a very small apartment, live alone, um, and carry this out. Now, I'm just going to go down this street, and we're probably going to go back, but you can see there's two of the team on the left. They're all over. They're fanning out all over this area. And I also want to be very clear. See, they're right there. I'm going to pull over. Any apartment or house I show you, you should not read anything into that other than they just happen to be in the area where they're literally looking. So my point is, so this is Fox Point. Yeah, you do have the east side. You do, of course, you have the east side. But then you have, Gano Street. And then you have I Street. And so I want to show you, let's just say over on Waterman, yeah, that is obviously a nice area. And that's East George. And that goes into a nice area. But then you get this is like the fringe. So the east side actually then kind of goes into Fox Point. And so let's just say you had someone who is a little bit of a recluse and single. We know that I don't know the race, but I wanted to show you, and I think that look at this street. So is there somebody that lives over here? I want to show you something really interesting that no one else in the media has shown you. And there's nothing, I'm not sure if I have the right street. There's nothing wrong with it, by the way. No, I do have the right street. Okay. So, and I don't want the people that I'm going to show the sign to get upset about it, but look at room for rent, room for rent, call or text. So my point is whoa, there's somebody in a big jacket, room for rent. So if you're some eccentric recluse and you're literally just renting a room from someone, you may not have an automobile. I am telling you. So here, I believe, what the people you're seeing on the street up ahead. Yeah, I think these are investigators. I think it's tough because the streets are filled with both police or there's a lot of media. So I haven't seen anyone highlight this, and I think that this is really important because and again, really know this area because my dad grew up right over here, and I used to spend when I was very, very young, not all the time, but a couple of times when I was very young, and my old Italian aunts would babysit me and my brother. They would actually take us to that. I played at that playground as a child. So, all right, I want to go back up. This is Ive Street. Now, again, a lot of these streets they then go into what we think of as the east side, but then you have the Fox Point area. And so if you look at, what's interesting is you start looking at everybody as a suspect around here. But if you go into the person of interest they're looking for, this is East George. The reason why there's such police presence, and I think we're live on the radio right now on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. You can listen online at depetro.com. Now, we're live right now on Facebook and YouTube and X. You can share that you're watching on Facebook. I also want to mention that it's possible that during the course of this hour, it could be a little tinny here and there. See, there they are. But we're going to fight through it. Okay. There could be like little minor technical glitches, but we're going to, as I see there's police right there on the side. And then this also gives them a chance to talk to someone who may necessarily not contact police. So this is good what I'm going to show you right here, which is, so there they are. And and so they're checking me just to make sure that I'm friendly, which I am. But look at this is real boots on the ground, shoe leather. They are literally going door to door. They want to check every camera. They want to make sure the neighbors are there, or if they, a chance to talk to a neighbor. So I want to repeat. So instead of, I got a little frustrated when I was live for very quickly just a short time ago, only because people, and I'm not going to get distracted or anything, but people start ignoring and they just start firing these questions. Don't you understand? I can't explain it any other way. They believe the individual is still in this area. And they believe, if you would listen, they believe that the individual walked over there and then walked home and got out of it, by the way. Now, if you watch that video, the person of interest that they keep showing, and by the way, now there's a photo, they're trying to locate someone who inadvertently but passed the person of interest on the street. They want to talk to them because she looks back at him and she almost seems spooked, if you have seen it. So the police officers right now, they're on the other side of the street. We're going to stay with this search team, and then I will go up to where the building is. But this is really significant because, do you understand? They're not looking on the campus. They're looking at this surrounding area. Here's East Manning. So they're looking at the individual that they are maybe going into. So, um, oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to interfere, guys. Okay.
We're gonna ask you a question.
Yeah. Now I'm live right now though, so people could hear. I apologize. Is there a way I'm going to be done at 2:00? I'll give you my cell
Yeah.
if you want to contact me then.
Yeah, if you have any leads, yeah.
Yeah. No, I would do that. Do you have? Can you? Yeah. Let me just quickly scribble it down.
No problem.
Okay. And because I'm not trying to interfere,
No, no.
but I'm just showing.
It's possible. So.
Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. That's quite all right. Hey, John. And I want you to know, listen, you guys are going to find this person. You're doing the right thing. So,
5?
yeah, that's a 5.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I will, if you just shoot me a text.
Yeah.
So, okay. Because you guys are IRS federal. Okay. So, listen, Providence Police are solid.
Yes.
You guys are on this.
Yes.
You have my full faith. All right. All right, guys. Text me that because I do have some stuff to get to you. So, all right, folks, that was federal agents. I didn't want to film them. You are seeing. So why are the IRS agents here? Because they're using every possible person body available. Let me just back up. Well, I want to back up just so then you can see the individuals that I just gave my number to that I'm going to talk to at 2:00. So, but I let me just flip it over. That's why, because I know all the Providence police, but these guys, they're Homeland Security and IRS agents that are actually all part of it. And so what does that mean? That tells you that the FBI, they're using every possible individual who is available to be part of this. So this is, yeah, there they are right there. Yep. Yes, that's exactly right. Federal agents are federal agents. So now that should be worth some stars. Um, and that's totally fine. Yes. Now, but you see, so I want to reiterate, I recognize number one, people are going to do whatever they want. I encourage, oh, I think we have Stephanie. We're going to pick up Stephanie in just a moment. Number one, I highly encourage you to stop doing the AI to the photo. Go with what the police are putting out. The only photos you want to focus on are the photos that are the police are putting out. Because AI is doing all these different versions of it and you're going to get thrown off. That's number one. Number two, with this investigation, we go where the police are. So, okay, they just texted me. We do know who you are and we know you have info. Okay. Saw you on Jesse on Fox last night. Yes. Right. Well, here's the good news. The good news is I was on with Jesse Waters last night. The bad news is now everywhere I'm going, people are stopping and then they're like, hey, I saw you on Fox last night. So, all right, let me bring her on. She is our legal expert, and it is we can pull this off. Yes, there we go. Oh, and there she is. All right, joining us right now is attorney Stephanie Murphy. Stephanie, number one, let's just start with any thoughts that you want to share, broad observations, anything you've noticed so far regarding this manhunt as we're in day 5.
Well, I want to first say, John, you're doing a great job. You're great on Fox last night, so watched, and you're doing a great job covering the story. But it seems like
Thank you.
I just saw that interaction with the agents, and I just think it's great that the federal government, state governments using all their resources to try to narrow in and solve this, horrific crime. So I think that's wonderful. I think that they're trying to get out all the information to the public, although it's very hard and it's coming, piece by piece. It's really reassuring to see that federal agents are involved and they're pulling all the resources. So thank you for your hard work.
And Stephanie, you and I can agree. I mean, Rhode Island has never seen a manhunt of this magnitude. I was speaking with a member of law enforcement that said this is probably we've never had a terrorist attack. We've never had anything of this magnitude. Yes, it's Rhode Island, but as you and I both know, Brown University is an internationally acclaimed university, and in many ways, Brown is actually probably better well known than the state. But we have this is beyond a school shooting. This is almost the equivalent. It really was a terrorist attack. Someone went in. It wasn't a robbery. They went in, took 2 lives. The other people injured. They've escaped. They're on the loose, and this is just a massive manhunt that is playing out right now. So now someone who has become very prominent is attorney Peter Nerona. And I'm curious, we've also never seen that in many ways he's also doing interviews. He's right there with the team leading the charge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen it with like the Station Night House fire and stuff like that. The Attorney General, kind of getting involved in stuff like that. But in terms of, a manhunt like this, he is a top law enforcement agent in the state. So, his attorneys will be prosecuting the case hopefully one day very soon. And he's also in charge of the law enforcement to make sure everything's done properly. So having him up there on the stage talking about it and being involved is, exactly where he needs to be in such a small state like this.
Now, also, police just put out, Stephanie, and folks, those that are watching, you can see they're the agents. Those are federal agents. And they are, I mean, this is really remarkable. They are going door to door. As I said, those of you that know the East Side, yeah, there is the East Side, but this is then Fox Point that borders it. And they sure seem, I follow the police, and the police right now, they believe that this individual arrived on foot and left on foot and seemingly is still in this area, could be watching us right now. There's everything's not a mansion around here. As we just showed that sign, rooms to rent. This could be someone very limited means. Now, Stephanie, as far as the legal aspect of this, and I know we touched on this, but if you could just touch on, they are still saying this. This is, and people should understand, this is a person of interest that they want to identify. They don't know who he is.
Right, absolutely, John is somebody that they're interested in talking to, bringing in, speaking to. I mean, the fact that he was there, prior to this at 10:30 in the morning, and he's seen afterwards and stuff like that. So, until he's interrogated, until he's charged, he's a person of interest that they're very, that everyone's looking for right now. Absolutely.
I would also like you to give just you right now, and I'm not exact, the person of interest or a family member or friend literally could be watching us right now. I have been at different standoffs within the person who's inside the police standoff house is then in the chat with my live. As an attorney, as a lawyer, what advice? I'd actually like you to just speak directly to that person, and what would you tell them?
Yeah, so if anyone has information or, have information about someone in their family, a friend, they can absolutely reach out to an attorney and have that attorney with them when they contact the police and stuff like that. But any information at this point would be so important to get to the police. And if people have concerns and stuff like that, it's not uncommon for somebody to reach out to an attorney and have the attorney, help them communicate or help them get the information. So, if they're worried about their relationship with somebody or something like that, is all you can always reach out to an attorney or directly to the police and then let the police know that you want an attorney too. So there's many ways to go around it and to go around it the right way. But anyone with information, I think it's very important that, we get this information out and it'll help everyone, the community at large. It can, help bring in the person safely, not hurt. So there's a lot of advantages of taking advantage of the communication that you can have with an attorney or just with the police directly.
And on top of that, Stephanie, with you had the situation, Luigi Mangione, where the mother had called the police and said, "Hey, we haven't heard from my son in a couple months," and then the mother was cooperating. People should take away from that. The mother was not charged. And then you go back to what happened with Charlie Kirk, where the family and the pastor, they, brought the individual to police. My point of mentioning that is, if you are a family member, I'm going to say it. Call Stephanie. We're not saying you have to go in alone, and maybe this is a misunderstanding, and this person wants to clear it up. But you need to come forward, as opposed to if there's someone sitting back and has information, and then they're, as you and I always say, Stephanie, go see the police before they come and see you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have that whole, murder that happened a couple weeks ago in Rhode Island, and then all these people are charged with conspiracy and covering up and stuff like that. You don't want
Yes,
to be on the
yes.
back end of a story either. So I think it's just very important for everyone, everyone to come forward, and you can have the protection of an attorney if that's what you think you need. Absolutely, reach out to myself, reach out to another attorney, reach out to the police and say you want to come in, but you want an attorney present. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but I think it's important just to take that first step.
And finally, the police did just put out. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen this. They put out a photo, and it's not the person of interest, but it is someone that popped up on one of these videos that they've put out, who actually passes the person they're looking for on the street, and she seems thrown by that. And I think this is really important to also emphasize, be very clear. That person, this woman, she did nothing wrong, but they're very interested in talking to that woman who could maybe provide information. What should that person do?
I mean, that person, if it's something where you have no worries about anything and you just, just call the police right away. I think it's more important to get the information out to the police right away. It might not have triggered, anything until, because the police are looking for, events that could have happened a week ago, 5 days ago, 4 days ago. So anyone with that information, they might not know they have that information and the police just want to talk to you. But at any point when you're talking to the police, if you feel like there's a turn in the conversation, you can absolutely ask for an attorney at that point. So even if you don't go in with one, if there's some line of questioning that you don't feel comfortable with, you absolutely have the right to stop and ask for an attorney. But for this individual, they can absolutely just go right to the police and have a conversation with them. And if something changes, they can always ask for an attorney at any point.
And one final question. I did hear from someone. She believes her brother has some information. However, he skipped, I don't know, it was shoplifting and a bench warrant. Can you assure them, Stephanie, if they have what the police would consider valuable information, a pretty good way to get an outstanding warrant on a shoplifting charge would be to go to the police. My point is that her brother, and I know they're watching, they should not be concerned that then the police are going to say, "Oh, we grabbed you now." This to me, this would be a pretty good get out of jail free card if you can
Well,
deliver
absolutely. I mean,
valuable
yeah, if
information to the police.
right.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. If they called our office, the first thing I would say is, "Hey, this person has information, but there's a warrant out for them or something like that." They're willing to come in and stuff like that, but I want to make sure my client's not leaving in handcuffs because of a warrant and stuff like that. So, of course, I can't make any guarantees, but I can definitely work with the police and make sure that everyone feels comfortable before anyone goes in. And so can any other attorney, or that person could have a conversation with the police over the phone. But definitely that should not stop somebody from coming forward with information like a warrant, a new charge, even a serious new charge. I think the police are really looking for information, and you coming forward will absolutely help in many ways for your pending matters.
All right, folks. Again, she is attorney Stephanie Murphy. Stephanie, always an adventure. We're going to check in with
Thanks,
you.
John.
I'm going to get
Good
back.
luck. Be safe out there. Good luck.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Stephanie.
you.
Folks, there she
You're
is,
welcome.
attorney Stephanie Murphy, right here on the John DePietro show. And I'm going to yeah, that is different as there. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for your patience. And the federal agents, I'm just asking them to wait till 2 o'clock. I can't, let me write it out. I can't talk to you until I'm off the air at 2 o'clock. I, yes, listen, it's 124. Unless you're telling me that I don't have anything that is life and death information that you need. So, all right, we're gonna roll along. I appreciate that, folks. As I've said, we're gonna continue the but this is really extraordinary. I mean, we could go into where the center of kind of ground zero is where the shooting took place, but right now, and we're going to speak with, um, as I said, Lieutenant Gannon, former Providence Police. We've talked to Danny before. You know, boy, I'll tell you, everybody, here's police up here. Everybody that is walking around, they're stopping. If you in any way fit a description of a white male and you're a little heavy set, I am telling you, they are stopping everybody. And that's just the way it is. And if that's a problem, you're going to have to get used to it. So now let's see. I'm going to go. Well, that's where the shooting took place, right up there. I'm going to go this way. And okay, I know where I am. I'm not going to, there's federal agents in some office space right here. So here you see Providence Police right here. They have a tremendous, well, they're on every corner. So I want everyone that's watching to like, uh, I'm giving you real information here. Don't you see the police are up here? The police, oh, good, there's Danny. The police, as Danny Gannon said, number one, the perp goes where they know, but with the Charlotte Lester case, with all these different things, I stayed right where the police were. And and they stayed at that house. So this is the Rhode Island Historical Society, and this is the sidewalk where he was then pacing back and forth. And so, and I want to show you, we're going to pull up Danny in just a moment, everyone. But so picture I did this yesterday. So he walks down. They now believe, from what I understand, why he was walking around the person of interest is he was mapping out his escape route. He was mapping out where he was going to go. And by the way, he wanted to see where all the cameras were. And by all accounts, he was successful. So that's why he was walking around for a couple hours, was really doing a final check and then jumps into action. So right here there's the building. So he comes walking up here. This is Hope Street, and you see the news stations. And then he goes right in there on the left. And then there's now a photo where you see police pull up right here. And then ahead, you see him scurrying across to Waterman. There is a photo out now where you see him. See this red light that we're pulling up to right here? That's right where you see him take the right. So this is Hope Street at Waterman. All right, folks, let's bring him on right now. He is our police expert, and he is former Lieutenant of Providence, Danny Gannon. And Danny, first of all, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. I want to just hear some of your opening thoughts, and then I just have a couple pointed questions about this type of investigation.
Sure. Thanks for having me, John. First off, I'd be remiss not to
Now, for
offer
whatever
condolences.
reason, I'm not hearing Danny. Danny, maybe either turn up your volume, what have you. I can see you, but I can't. For whatever reason, we cannot hear
How about now?
Lieutenant Gannon. I
How
will
about
pull
now?
over. I don't think it's because I'm riding around.
How about now,
Sometimes
John?
maybe turn up the volume, or it could be an audio issue. If it's an audio issue, maybe these things aren't perfect, and we could reconnect.
I did a mic.
So,
The mic
and
test
folks, we
worked
are
fine.
doing this on the fly, so things can happen. So, Danny, you guys are saying you can hear him. It's fine. Okay. Huh. For whatever reason, I can't hear him. All right. Danny, go right ahead. What are some of your initial thoughts about the investigation?
Uh, well, John, first of all, thanks for having me. And I'd be remiss if I didn't offer my heartfelt condolences to the students and uh, the family, the community at large.
We do
You
this.
know, you have to. Um,
Keep talking, Danny.
it was senseless violence, and it's affecting
Uh,
the school and the community at large.
what right now, what does it tell you that they don't have him arriving by vehicle? They basically have him in this 6-block radius that I'm riding around, and you can see there's a Providence police officer car in front of me. There's one there, and we just passed the federal agents. What does that tell you about where the police think that this individual could be?
Um, I think you can look at that two different ways, John. They're offering a presence, a strong presence in the community for safety reasons up there. It puts the community at a little bit of ease when they see the police cars everywhere. And it also could mean that they believe he's still in the area. I don't know if they've gone house to house, room to room. I don't know exactly what they've done yet. I'm not involved in that hands-on investigation.
Danny, you were the one that said, go where you know. We've seen the video. What does it tell you how that individual, very cautious, he's walking around. You can tell on one of the surveillance that he seems to be almost checking out the camera. What does that tell you about this individual?
Tells me that he was familiar with the area. Uh, he's when he one I don't know if I saw every video that they've put out, but one that I did see, he stops and abruptly puts his hands behind his back and starts reading one of the historic signs on the house. I don't know if that was because there were people on the other side of the road, or I don't know why. But it seemed like he was pretty familiar with that area.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be familiar in the area. I think it's they don't the technology they have with the flock cameras. Uh,
Right.
from what I understand, they're not showing a vehicle. They're not showing Danny a license plate hit. This, if you could also just touch on, now granted, we don't know a lot of the details, but the element of, when you have a lone wolf, this can be tricky. If that individual expected for whatever reason, like, this could be the end. I am willing to go in there and end things. It was executed very effectively, whether we like it or not, but it was. But now the person basically was able to go in, out, get out of there. And, right now, as I said, they could be watching us right now. What I think, do you agree that this is certainly still a real threat in this area?
I would think so. Yes. Yes. Only because unless they have information that we don't know, it appears that you have to stay there until you have information that indicates otherwise.
Yep. Folks, we're going to end it at that. I want to thank, we'll have him back. We're going to have him back. He's terrific. We've done other cases together. This is a big one. It is former lieutenant with the Providence Police Department, our friend Danny Gannon. Danny, excellent. Keep up the good work, and thanks for taking the time. We will have you back at some point. Thanks, Danny.
Okay. Merry
All right,
Christmas,
folks.
John.
Again, and I apologize that obviously, and I'm not sure. Listen, it's not easy, and we're trying to do this effectively and doing something very different with the ride around. But and it was a little bit. But I want to get back to see, and Danny's, I think, has good insight that that the I think it is local. My opinion on this has changed because of um, the nature of where the police continue to be. The police are here. So this is once again the building where it happened. These are media people. Paul Morrow was live with Fox right over here a short time ago. The media keeps arriving, and we'll go around the block. But I think, see, this part they've already gone through. So the memorial, everything in that regard, I think, we'll still do a ride around the block. And again, folks, right now at 1:35, this is to the right, and it's a growing memorial, but we were here yesterday, and from my understanding, here's, can I get by there? I'm not sure. I think I can. Um, this truck is stopped, and we're gonna continue, but they have extended it. They're no longer they were here. So I hate to honk the car horn at this guy, but we do want to get by. So I'm not exactly sure the nature of why this truck is blocking us. I don't understand exactly what's happening, other than he seems intent on trying to talk to Channel 10. Doug White is not in the van. Jim Taracani is not in the van. So let's move it along. So here's the memorial. And so this seems like someone that's just, lack of a better expression, but like a tourist. So there's the memorial. This is the one side of the building, and that's growing. See, yeah, this guy just wants to talk to media. We'll get away. To the left is the quad. I found it far more interesting where the investigators were. So they're extending the circle. So we're going to go back to that. So right now, as I said, we are live. Yeah, he's just, and I get it. People are interested. I'm not knocking it like that. For someone who's working, whoever works for ALG Pleasant Hardware, I don't understand what's happening here. Whoever your worker is, a driver, get them back to work. All right, so this is Waterman. We're going to go back to where we were, because I don't believe they don't have him up here. And the building that he entered, that is, yeah, so that's Hope Street. And I'll go down Hope, because then I'm going to go into the neighborhood a little bit where he was walking around. I think it's far more interesting now that he, because people are wondering, why was he walking around? He got there at 2:00, and then why at 4:00? Was he trying to work up the nerve? I hate using the word courage, but was he somehow, was that part of it? It's back here. He was more on these streets. So one block over, and you can tell, for those that are just, this is very residential. I mean, this is not only is it a neighborhood, it's a beautiful neighborhood. So then, but it is nice, and it is a beautiful neighborhood and homes. And again, this is police. But then when this is East Side, right? So this is like East Side. You then have Wayland Square. But if we go down a little bit farther, because then he was seen at Benevolent, that becomes Fox Point. And for anyone that knows these sites, so here's Benevolent. So obviously he was right here. But there's a world of difference between some of these streets here on the East Side, Wayland Square. There's a big difference between that and Fox Point. And I say that as, like, again, my family arrived at Fox Point. Now, there's probably police up ahead. So the DePietros arrived in Fox Point in 1880. 1880. Oh, is Danny? I'm not sure if he's back. Oh, we'll try him again. Oh, okay. Let's see. But we had a problem with audio. All right, Danny, you're back.
How is it now, John?
No, I don't know exactly what the problem is. I don't know what the problem is, Danny. So we in trying to reconnect, I'm going to have to investigate it on my end. But there seems to be, for some reason, some element that I'm just not. Let's see. I'm not. Oh, unless I could try that. No. Again, we certainly appreciate Danny, but for whatever reason, I'm gonna circle back with him, and I'm not getting his audio. So, folks, again, we're trying. This is very aggressive type of coverage we're trying. So again, so there's governor, but then I'm going to go down. This is Preston. And so very quickly, someone could live right now. We get into Fox Point, and it's still walking distance, right? It's walking distance. But as you can tell, the type of housing, it is far different, much different than where we just were. And this is the area that we saw the federal agents, who, again, I'm asking for their patience. I will talk to them at 2:00. I will absolutely. And I hope, and by the way, thank you for the stars, and thank you. Make sure you follow the page, whether you're on YouTube. I'm going to pull over just a moment with this, just because I do have some people, and I want to make sure we don't miss any information while we are trying to pick it up. So, folks, again, and I recognize, listen, it's not easy trying to do this type of, okay. I understand that it's not easy doing this type of thing. Let me just, okay. Uh, I will, okay. Another, can I do the Will Kane show? I don't know. I don't know. Folks, bear with me. I also want to mention PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. They have all of their Christmas displays out. Let me just answer that. And Danny was great. He was great. Yes. Okay. Okay. And I also I want to mention every Propane Plus. They've been so fantastic. Thank you, everybody. I also want to address. I completely understand. I mean, it's brutal how much um, the locals are just. So this is interesting. Providence Police have created a centralized location for digital media. Providence Police have created a centralized location, digital media. So I will be sharing that on the page. And so, okay, here's another law enforcement asking. Now, this is interesting. I'm not going to share from who. The law enforcement asking me for a video that I shot. Now, I want to be very clear. I cooperate and work with them on that. And I hope people recognize the difference, because then you do have some members of the media that don't cooperate with law enforcement. I'm more than happy to. Let me be very clear. I couldn't be more crystal clear of who that I am. You know, I want this. Oh, okay. All right. So the briefing's going to be at 4. Briefing room. So for briefing today at 4:00. 4:00. So that's interesting. So a little bit earlier, which is fine. And then that just narrows my window a little bit of what time. So right now it's 1:45, and I want to show you what the police have put out. And it's very significant that this individual who they're looking to connect with, and not that this person did anything wrong. Actually, it's probably all over the different feeds. People can see that they are looking to someone who, and this person passed. Yeah, I'll show it. Passed the individual as the person of interest as they were on the street. So, okay, that's who. Let me just show it quickly. Yep. So now this, I get that some people think there should be clearer photos of things. I'm not saying I disagree, but so this is the new individual that police want to talk to. And again, I want to stress this is not a person of interest, but this is someone that they believe passed the person that they want to talk to. So hopefully, whoever knows this individual, and it shouldn't be that difficult, they will contact the Providence police. So they want to, if you've seen there's a video of this person who I think is passing the person of interest. And so I think that's interesting. They want to just, probably what do they want to say? They probably want to say, have you ever seen that person before? What was it? That person looks back at that individual. And why did that person look back at that individual? Why did they do that? I think that's something. You know what else? And I posted this last night. Oh, there's a couple of things I want to mention actually. And let me also just very quickly, folks, as you can tell, I mean, it's not easy. And I'm not even going to mention, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. There I am. It doesn't matter that I'm tired. It doesn't. So what? Guess what? Everybody's tired. So it doesn't matter that the chosen one is tired, and it doesn't matter that it's freezing out. We have to catch this person. This is a threat. And I think that's how people should look at it. But I did also put out, this is pretty, so this is the room. This is the room that they were in. And I find it a little haunting when you see then the blackboards, and then the suspect enters from the back. It's stadium seating from the top. This is, and I want to give credit, the Brown Daily Herald, they posted that. So that is Barris and Holly room, 166, first floor. So that's what I do have this posted, by the way. But I do want to touch on this business of people saying he screamed Allah Akbar, or other people saying, did he yell Ella? If you look at, and I did post this, by the way, and it's not going to come up, but, well, if someone yelled Ella, Ella could sound like Allah, right? It absolutely can. Ella can sound like Allah. So did he yell Ella or Allah? We don't know that. I know that people want the police to just, what did he yell and that type of thing. I don't, and I also want to caution, I don't know what it is. And maybe they're, for various reasons, they're not telling us exactly what it is that he said. But I do know, I mean, I see everything, obviously, that's online. And I recognize that people are anxious, or this business that people, police are holding back information. I want you to know that I don't, this is no different than the way they do a lot of these investigations, which is they never come right out and tell you, everything that is involved with all the details. What I do think makes this different is the fact that in this particular situation, most of the time, police know who they're looking for, but they don't know where the individual is. What makes this different is they don't know who this is. Folks, this could, and that's state police up ahead coming this way. I think with the K9. This thing, when they figure out who it is, then this thing would then it's just a matter, they zip in, go flying in to, that is state police, the residence, that's the state police K9. And then that's how it could actually end very quickly. The hard part right now is they just don't know. They don't know where he is. They don't know who he is. They don't know who he is. Now, I believe, so let's think about that. And especially this area that we're in. I'll go a little bit farther down, but this sure sounds like someone that could either be just recluse, lives in obviously a nutcase, lives in a small apartment, um, lives alone, not exactly tearing it up on the dating scene. Um, I mean, I think those are all absolutely things to look at. I am less on the fact that the investigation is evolving. The investigation is evolving. I know there's a lot of conspiracy stuff out there. I get that, and I also know that a lot of people. Please, and if you want to, if you support my work, number one, you can become a subscriber. Number two, you could send stars or on on YouTube. We have various things, but the I don't need you to keep sending me things you're finding online. I I know about that stuff actually ahead of time. I'm telling you, that's not where they are right now. This is and listen, it's evolving. I mean, it was the idea that they all fled the campus and students, but the more we're seeing video, this looks like a local lone wolf, and not only um, a local lone wolf, but someone who someone that who really committed an act of terrorism. I mean, that's really what is going on, and it's so horrible when you think about it that someone would actually carry out what the individual um, what they actually carried out and did is just so horrific. But I also want to stress to people, you think about it just for a moment. And again, we have a busy afternoon ahead of press briefing coming up, I believe 4 o'clock this time, unless for whatever reason that changes. So press briefing at 4, and we will go live with that. But one of the reasons I'm up here, and there I am, is folks, at any moment, they could get a lead and then descend on the location of where this individual is. I mean, that could happen. Something else that, you need to be realistic. That person right now, when they saw their image, they could have taken their life. So they could be sitting somewhere in one of these there are very small apartments around there. You saw the sign, rooms to rent. So it could be someone almost in like I don't know if I want to say a cold water flat, but pretty close to that. So, but you can't you can't ignore where the police are. The police are not going all over the place. Um, and I'm not going to get into like people are sending me various things. You got to you go where you know, as Danny Gannon had said to us. Um, I I know people keep mentioning a different name, but I am telling you, I mean, and there's some people, by the way. Oh, good. I got a thumbs up from a brown person. Yeah. Um, folks, I'll tell you, number one, obviously, my work in doing this, as some of the TV people saying, you're the local crime guy. There are individuals that are not, I'm not even playing to that. As I've said, if you're a Candace Owens person, you don't belong here. If you're I'll just leave it at that. Either some of the clowns or the conspiracy people. There's people that are just fanning the flames of all this stuff. You got to look at what's really going on. I want to repeat for those, and I know we have a lot of new people, but I have full faith in the Providence Police Department. I have full faith. I don't care what anybody says. And I know when I watched the segment of me on Jesse Waters last night on Fox, I couldn't see what chyrons they were putting. And then I didn't see the first part where he was, I mean, some shows on Fox and certain people, they're really, really rough on Smiley and they're rough on Chief Perez and they're going after Nerona. So I don't, I'm not on board with that stuff. I think it's a difficult case. But right now at 157, and again, there are some people that can dismiss this. I just saw someone post, this is a liberal stream. I mean, think how ridiculous that is. I was at the White House last weekend. I was on Fox last night. I was just with Paul Morrow, who's great, former deputy in New York just a few moments ago. I'm going to be on Newsmax tonight. This is a liberal stream. But anyhow, I am telling you, the individual seemingly is right in this area, is in this area. I don't know where, but this person seems to be in a 6-block radius from the shooting and was walking around. Why did he do that? I don't know. But he did pick, and he could be watching right now. You need to give yourself up. You obviously think you're so smart because you got away with it, but you didn't get away with it. You killed some innocent, harmless people because they were caught unaware and off guard. I want to speak directly to the shooter. You are a coward. There's a bunch of people here that would love to confront you, and instead you hide. And I know you're around here, and you could actually be looking out your window right now of where I am. I am telling you right now, you're not going to get away with this, and we're going to find you. And I'm going to be right there when they find you. The best thing you could do for yourself is call attorney Stephanie Murphy and try to negotiate some type of surrender. So you walked around, you figured out a route, you figured out where the cameras were, you accomplished nothing. You killed that poor innocent Ella and then the other student. You wounded those students, and you think you're so slick because you were able to then go back into your little hole. But I am telling you right now that they're going to find you, and I can't wait till they find you. So now, folks, we're going to be coming up on 2:00. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you follow the page, follow on X, follow on YouTube, follow on Facebook. Briefing coming up, 4:00. We're going to continue our coverage, day 5 manhunt for the Brown shooter.